AHSOKA, episode 5. This is the one it's all been building up to. What a self-indulgent piece of nonsense it was. Press the dislike now or join me after the scroll to have a quick chat about it, because I'm not going to review it all the way through. Bonjour. Where do I start with this episode, this self-indulgent piece of nonsense? Why do I call it self-indulgent? It's because I would really, really love for Dismal Minus to create something that you haven't got to have read every book, watched every episode, seen every film more than once. A piece of drama, 6 episodes of something that you can just enjoy. I watched a series called Cobra Kai, and believe it or not, I didn't watch the original Karate Kid films. I know, just weren't into it, just wasn't my thing, just wasn't my bag, baby. Despite the era it was set in, etc., etc. But Cobra Kai, they just set the series up so well. So many people were saying so many good things about it. But I didn't have to see the original films. I still haven't. And I can't wait for Series 6. That is the difference between grown-up, creative people, passionate and enthusiastic. It's not all about the money. It's not all about the advertising. It's not all about. It's got to be. It's got to be. But they obviously love the source material so much. But they made a series that people can just jump onto. Should we call it the casual viewer? Well, I tell you what, AHSOKA isn't going to get the casual viewer. And my old mate Taters from the Hogcasts, he did nail it. And I think I did mention this on one of my previous reviews, where he said, with Filoni, he's a super fan. We know he is. If you're any kind of Star Wars fan above the periphery, which I am. I'm one of the originals, and I do follow as much as I can. You know, I'm heavily into the comics, which I know a lot of people aren't. But a lot of people were heavily into the cartoons, which you need to have been to watch this series and to have it resonate. And that is where, as Yoda says, and that is where you fail. It's got to be where you fail. I'm not expecting a series that, like an episode by episode, like the first series of X-Files or the original Star Trek, where it was an episode a week. That is an old-fashioned format that's gone. Yeah, I get it. But my God, you do have to introduce these characters to an audience that may not have seen. What you're doing is you're limiting your audience. If you're expecting everyone to have seen Rebels and Clone Wars cartoons and maybe read a book or two about Grand Admiral Thrawn, you're limiting your audience even narrower than the audience that Dismal Minus has already got for Star Wars. Because millions have gone. Millions and millions and millions. And amongst them are the Star Wars fans. They're gone. They are gone now. This series does nothing. Nothing. We spend half an hour. Like I said last week, it's like a kaleidoscope where you get a glimpse of something. And they give us a couple of glimpses of Vader, where there's scenes with AHSOKA and Anakin. But at the moment, all AHSOKA, apart from if she's not having a lightsaber fight, she's got her arms folded with that stupid grin on her face, that all-knowing grin, like of a middle-aged woman. It's like watching a TV show with your wife on it, going, yeah, see, told you so. No, it's just no good. No good. The AHSOKA actress, when she's younger, in the dream sequence, she's pretty good. So anyway, half hour in, and nothing's happened. She's in the dream world. only if you've watched the cartoons do you know where she is or have any idea of where she is. The space narwhals, you don't know what they are really unless you've seen all of the cartoons and followed all of it. This doesn't measure up. Doesn't measure up. And if Dismal thought that this would bring back all the Star Wars fans, well, you are dead wrong. You have got to provide some decent adult entertainment, enjoyable characters that you can follow, that you can boo the villain, you can cheer the hero, and that we can follow. Just introduce them to us. Tell us why they're doing it. Tell us why we should love them. Tell us why we should hate them. And give us 8 episodes of it. That's what Wednesday did on Netflix. Wednesday just went, here we go. If you haven't seen all of the Addams Family, don't worry about it, because we're going to give you this. But if you have seen all of that, then you'll have a bit more of a laugh. You know, you'll be one above the general audience. But you don't get those kind of audience figures unless you introduce these characters and make us empathise. Why am I on AHSOKA's side? Or Hera taking her kid into the next war zone? Look, there's not even any kind of maternal connection with the kid. Even that would be quite cute, but it's not. Even her maybe alluding to the fact that he's got force powers, because he can suddenly, I don't know, he's only a kid, but not even Anakin could do that when old Ben showed up, first of all, could he? But anyway, he's looking out across the sea and he can sense everything that's gone on. It don't work. It don't work, and this isn't going to, it's a shame. And I'm bordering on the angry, because believe it or not, I do love Star Wars so much that I just wish this show was the one. I keep holding out that hope. What film was that? I don't know what one it was in this prequel trilogy. The Rebellion, you know, need to have hope. Oh, God. Anyway, do you know what? I'm going to cut it there. I'm just... The dialogue again is so shocking bad. Even in the dream world, you've got Anakin going, live or die. And AHSOKA just says, no. And he says, incorrect. Oh, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And like I say, if you haven't watched the cartoons, you don't know where they are, what they're doing, which is including me. I've got my mate Taters to inform me, but they don't make it right. Don't make it right. You can't watch an episode of telly, an episode of anything, and then ring and have to call someone and say, right, so how am I meant to understand this? And communing with the whales for the other half of the episode. It is really dull, boring, pedestrian TV. And I don't want a gunfight or a lightsaber fight or a laser battle, starship battles and explosions every episode. I do expect some drama. And we were getting that last week, to be fair. And this week, ain't going nowhere. So anyway, I know that weren't a review. It is a bit depressing because I do love Star Wars. I did love Star Wars. Well, no, I take that back. I still do love Star Wars pre-Dismal. It's just a shame that with all of their resources, all of their money, everything they've got available to them, and I will repeat myself one more time. With Filoni's passion and enthusiasm and creativity, all it needs is an adult in the room to just target that and hone it and craft it into a successful TV franchise. Or just one series. Doesn't have to be a franchise. It's already a franchise, isn't it? But just for a modern age. Because as Taters so succinctly put it with Filoni, it's a superfan creating for superfans. That ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. That will be diminishing returns all day long. Because those superfans, like myself from the originals, will be dying out soon. We'll all be gone. Then what? It's got to be new. It's got to be refreshed and updated. Not just rebooted, not just the old shit rebooted. New. And that's what I mean about the resources that Dismal must have. They must have all of it. Well, they're the biggest studio in the world. They were, still are, I think, just about. Biggest studio in the world. Look what they're doing. To the biggest, well, that was once upon a time the two biggest franchises in the world, Marvel and Star Wars. Look what they're doing to them. Before I get angry, on that note, I'm going to thank everyone, as always, thank you for, if you followed me this far in my little ramble, and I know that weren't a review, but just gets to a point where there's not a lot to review. I could have made fun of it, but I think everyone else is doing that now. And yeah, I don't know, I think the sadness struck me this week because it was so dull. It was so dull and boring that it does make you sad. I can't be angry about it. Well, I can, maybe another time. Maybe next week. Let's see what next week brings. But love you all. If you are liking, commenting, and especially subscribing, you know I love you sexy people. As always, thank you so much if you're a subscriber to my channel. Really do appreciate it. And until, please, come at me. If you're going to dislike this, if you didn't just press a dislike before the scroll, come on, come at me, because I'm not getting enough comments and I'd love to see more. Until next time, adios.